They all laughed at her. They thought she was weak because of her size. But when danger struck, Ada was the only one who could save them, and the village would never be the same again. If this is your first time of coming across our YouTube channel, please kindly like, share with family and friends, and do not forget to subscribe. Thank you. In the village of Udu, there was a girl named Ada. She was different from the other girls in the village. While the other girls were slim and graceful, Ada was broad, tall, and round. From the time she could walk, Ada noticed the looks, the whispers, and the teasing. Ada, look at you. You are the size of a mountain. Shika, the most popular girl in the village, often led the group. Ada, are you eating the old village food? She would mock, her laughter echoing around the village square, followed by googles from the others. Ada's heart would sink with every comment. She couldn't escape the feeling that her body made her different, and not in a good way. She avoided the village dancings, staying away from the others who often made fun of her size. Her grandmother, Mama Ejike, however, always reminded her that her size could be a strength. You are like the baobab tree, Mama Ejike would say, big, strong, and able to weather the storms. But Ada struggled to see how something she was always teased about could be a strength. Every day she wished to be like the other girls, small, graceful, and admired. One day, dark cloud gathered over the village of Udu. The wind began to howl, and the once calm river that ran through the village started to rise rapidly. The villagers could see that something terrible was coming their way. It's a storm! The river will overflow. Elder Chukwuemeka, the village chief, warned the people. The storm grew stronger as the day went on. By evening, the river had breached its banks, flooding the farmlands and gripping into the village. Homes and crops were in danger of being swept away, and panic spread among the villagers. At the village square, Elder Chukwuemeka gathered the people. We need to act fast. We need to send food and supply to the neighboring village, but the bridge is washed away. We have no way to cross the river. The villagers began to murmur in fear. Some of the men tried to figure out a plan, but the flood water were rising quickly. Chika stepped forward with a brave face, though her hands shook. I will swim across, she said, but there was fear in her voice. I will bring back help. The villagers hesitated, unsure if anyone could survive the fierce current. Ada, standing at the edge of the crowd, felt a stirring inside her. She had been mocked for her size, but maybe it was her size that could help. Ada stepped forward, her voice louder than she expected. I will cross the river. The villagers stared at her in disbelief. Shika raised an eyebrow. Ada, you can't even swim. How will you cross the river? But Ada wasn't listening to the mockery anymore. She knew the river current was dangerous, but she wasn't afraid. Her size, which had always been a source of shame, now felt like it was an advantage. Her body was sturdy, grounded, and heavy enough to withstand the rushing water. Without another word, Ada grabbed a bundle of supply, tied a rope around her waist, and began walking towards the river. The flood waters were strong, pushing against Ada's legs, but she didn't stop. The current was strong, and Ada struggled to keep her balance, but her size worked in her favor. The water tried to pull her down, but her broad body anchored her in place. As she walked deeper into the rushing water, the villagers watched in awe. Ada didn't move quickly, but she moved steady, and each step making the villagers realize something they hadn't seen before. Ada was strong. With every step she took, the villagers gasped in amazement. Ada was moving against the current, her size keeping her grounded. While others hesitated, the flood water reached her chest, then her shoulders, but Ada pressed on. When she finally reached the other side of the river, the villagers were silent. Ada had done it. She had crossed the river, the same river that had swept away their hopes. Ada's size was no longer something to laugh at. It was the reason they were saved. Ada didn't stop there. She helped rebuild the village, carrying heavy beams and climbing debris that would have been impossible for others to lift. She was unstoppable now. The men and women of Udu saw her differently. Ada's size wasn't a curse, it was her strength. Shika, humbled by what she had seen, approached Ada. Her voice was soft, almost apologetic. Ada, I was wrong. You saved us. Ada smiled, her heart full of peace. It's not about what we look like, but what we do with who we are. Our strength is in our actions, not our appearance. A week later, the river began to swell again. The villagers knew the danger wasn't over. Ada and the others worked together to reinforce the makeshift bridge, but they still needed to gather more supply to survive. This time, Ada didn't hesitate. She stepped into the river once again, her confidence soaring. She was ready. With each step, the villagers watched her. This time, it was admiration, not mockery. Ada wasn't just crossing the river, she was leading the way. Her size, which had once been the reason for her isolation, had become a source of power. She crossed the river and brought back the supply that would save the village once again. When the water finally receded, Ada stood tall, not just in height, but in heart. She had saved the villagers. She had transformed from a girl who was once ridiculed to the heart of the village. Now, when the children of Udu played, they would say, Ada is strong. Ada is an hero. And Shika, the once gorgeous girl who had mocked her, now walked alongside Ada, proud to call her a friend. Ada, she stood with her grandmother, Mama Ejike, smiling as the villagers celebrated. You were right all along, grandmother. Ada said softly, my size isn't a weakness, it's my strength. What others sees as your weakness might be your greatest strength. Don't let anyone make you feel small. Your true power is in who you are, not how others sees you. Dear viewers, kindly like, share with family and friends, and please do not forget to subscribe. Thank you.